I wash my soul in the ocean, in the tears of God, I let it go.
Hello, my Astro family. This is your August 2020 horoscope, and things are getting interesting again. The war of the planets is beginning. The big players, Saturn, Mars, Jupiter, and Pluto, will hold a difficult square aspect in the sky for almost 2 months, starting from the middle of August. Things will heat up around the world. I expect riots, I expect rebellions, I expect clashes between governments and people, and things might get quite violent. But on the personal level, we're gonna look now how it's going to affect you in the personal level, and I'll give you suggestions and remedies. So don't worry. Personally, everyone usually has higher vibration than collectively, so we can do much better with those challenging aspects. Plus, there is a huge cosmic release of karma in certain area of your life where things are completing and ending. We'll talk about that. The galactic center aligns with the planet of karma, huge things. But before I start, I just wanted to let you know that my first book, my first electronic book, is out. It's about the planetary aspects in the natal horoscopes interpretation. Say if you are born when Jupiter was conjunct the Sun or square Venus or whatever, all those explanations are there. I wrote it with my teacher over. It took us 1 year, so it's now discounted for the first 2 weeks. Whoever orders it, it's very affordable price, so I'm excited. My first ever book. And also we're doing a webinar on August the 13th with Krasi, how to interpret your Babylonian horoscope, how to interpret your natal horoscope according to the ancient method. It's going to be 5-6 hours, very practical. We'll work with personal charts of the people there. We will give we'll read personal lives and examples, so it's gonna be very hands-on. So now let's begin with August 2020. Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Rising, August 2020. Well, in August, let's start with the hard part, and then we'll continue with the easy and pleasant ones. Well, there is a big square starting to happen in the skies between Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, and Mars. So how is that going to affect you guys? First of all, Mars rules your seventh house of relationships, and Mars will be almost for 2 months kind of triggered very strongly in a difficult aspect. And from the middle of August onwards, there might be some challenges when it comes to your personal relationships, and not only personal, business ones. Some obstacles, some things that you have to work on hard to overcome. Even for your partner, for example, it might be in the life of your partner that they're feeling those pressure of some sort. And also it's business partnerships, relationships with clients or with other people. Seventh house is overall other people. Sorry, the ruler of the seventh house, Mars. That's from the middle of August onwards till around October, almost till the middle of October almost. But Mars also will be actually in your 12th house. You're looking at it from the planets here. Mars will be in your 10th house and will square Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto in your 9th house. 12th and 9th house. These are houses of beliefs. I think there will be a big tension starting to pile up when it comes to your personal beliefs, when it comes to what the world believes, what other believes. And it's almost like the 12th house, Mars is trying to give birth to something new. And the 12th house is your subconscious and your dream life, your sleep life. So you're going to start feeling, and it's your, and with Saturn, Mars receiving tough aspects from those planets, you might start having quite turbulent sleep life. You might even find it a bit hard to sleep at night. You might find yourself having aggressive dreams, because Mars in the 12th house, and it stays there till the end of the year, but it escalates a lot from the middle of August. And you might find yourself that things that don't have the strength or don't have the the drive to approach in your daily life, that you're trying to solve them in your dream life, or people that you don't confront in your daily life, you might start fighting with them in your dream, and you're working through some, you're releasing the tension in your dream life. uh, okay, you say, okay, if it stays in my dreams, I'm okay. How else can it manifest on the material? Well, both the 12th and the 9th houses are connected with traveling, with foreign countries, with activities to import, export, if you have any business to do with that, or foreign relocation. So something might start to brew up there, that you create, that there is not you, but circumstances create some blockages, some obstacles, some delays, or some difficulties in regards to something connected with foreign residence, all those things that I mentioned. I'm not saying they're unresolvable, but they'll be there for a while. So be ready that if you're dealing with any issues connected with those matters, foreign countries, and also legal matters, the ninth house is legal cases, court cases, the legal system of any sort, that there might be some complications that start happening from August. Some invisible enemy comes up, or some invisible circumstance, Mars in the 12th house, that can prolong such legal processes, for example, or processes of relocation, foreign travel. And to be honest, I would advise Tauruses, starting from the middle of August till October, even till the first 10 days of October, if you have to travel somewhere long distance, especially if you're Taurus rising or Taurus moon and latest the sun, if you can postpone those, if you can do all your important long-term traveling or far distance traveling, say with airplanes in different states or different countries, or relocations to other countries, they can still happen, but it might be a lot of stress, and you have to be prepared for that. And if you can do all your traveling before that, and after October as well, after the middle of October, then you will be fine. The ninth house is the law, as I said, so we talked about that. It's also education. The ninth house and the 12th house are connected to studying, to research of some sort. And if some of you are doing certain research, Mars in the 12th house is great at researching, and you're forging forward into new territories, but you might find that you're receiving some kind of obstruction or blockage from established academia, professors, and people who think they know better. That they're, or even if you're not in university or anything like that, you might be doing some research, but you're meeting obstacles connected with rules and regulations from established academia and established knowledge. Or you might be doing your own private research, and you might be, or some spiritual breakthroughs, because Mars in the 12th house is really into active on some spiritual practices, some spiritual research, some psychological self-digging, and you're having progress, and suddenly Jupiter, Saturn, they square your Mars, so you can find a glitch that with your own psychological progress, you're finding a blockage that comes to you from what's happening in the collective, in the world, from the belief systems of the world, or your own spiritual, there is like a spiritual advancement happening for you till the end of this year with Mars in your 12th house, like a spiritual new birth there. It's not on the physical level, it's very psychological, like a breakthrough through old self-sabotaging behaviors, maybe addictions, maybe anything that's connected to past life karma, which is the 12th house where Mars is passing, that is holding you back. And Mars goes there with the rock breaker with its guns and says, I'm gonna tear this apart, and I'm gonna, or it's like a surgeon with its surgeon knife, and comes in areas, and says, so basically subconsciously there is a process happening where you want to release yourself from old karma with Mars transiting your 12th house, and old addictions, attachments, but you encounter blockages, or the process becomes quite difficult for a couple of months or a month and a half because of your old belief systems, which is Saturn. They're in Capricorn square, and it's retrograde, and you have to re-examine your belief system because your subconscious is trying to give birth and to release these old patterns, while it's encountering blockage or resistance from your long-term held belief systems that are imposed to you by family, by culture, by religion. So you see that the battle is more subtle, is more psychological, but it can still be frustrating, and at certain levels. Okay, so we talked what else. There can be also clash of opinions with others on ideological belief systems because Mars rules other people. It's in your 12th house, like fighting about spiritual beliefs or the reality, the nature of reality, the nature of politics and such things. The ninth house is those things as well. Um, and of course, the ninth house is father figures, teacher figures. There can be resistance there and kind of a little bit, a clash that starts happening. So hopefully it's not affecting you directly. This is the good thing for you, Taurus, because it's happening not in the signs that are directly affecting you. So that's great. Um, and on another level, let's see, there is the whole month, the south node of the moon is passing, and that's the collective karma, and your own personal karma is passing through the galactic center, which happens only once every 18 years, Taurus. So once every 18 years, you have a chance to release big karmic. Again, you see, it's again about releasing. The south node is releasing karmic, something karmically. And passing through the eighth house, it's to release trauma. The eighth house is definitely connected to trauma. Like a big, for some of you, might be like a big psychological breakthrough. So if you're working this month with a therapist, with an astrologer, psychologist, or someone who digs deep in the subconscious, or past life regressionist, or someone who is basically, or even on your own, just reading self-help books or doing some internal energy work, meditation, you can have an amazing help and breakthrough. That's not gonna come around for 19 years. So the pain, the trauma of your trust being betrayed, even in many past lifetimes, because South Node rules past lifetimes, and the galactic center is God. Galactic center is the creator of all, the physical manifestation of God there, and your past karma aligns with God with this high vibrational core in the center of our galaxy, gives it a burst. You can even cut cords with the past, with the trauma that you've experienced in some way. And it can even cut cords with unhealthy attachments, because eighth house is also obsessive or compulsive relationships with people or with substances, where you kind of like you have no it's like it's unhealthy codependent as well. So it can allow you to cut cords of some sort, so maybe do such ceremony or of some sort in August. um, and to release attachments to and karma connected to, it can be, for example, that you're relieved from some financial burden towards someone else. That's a positive manifestation, or obligation, financial obligation towards someone else, or that there is the cutting of a cord for you in regards to being financially dependent on someone. So maybe a financial source of some that's been helping you, or you've been, but it's no longer, it's blocking you now. Actually, that some help that's coming to you from another person, psychological, emotional, or financial, or some other source, might become not available anymore. Uh, and so you can focus actually uh, in becoming self-sufficient instead. And last but not least, there is a new moon in your fourth house around the 18th of August. So from the last 10 days of August to the first 20 days of September, this energy is very strong. So there will be a renewal of your family home, place of living. Some of you can indicate, for example, finding a new place to live, or renewing something in your home, or starting some new chapter with your family. Not something huge. There is a new moon in your fourth house every year, but this one is a bit more powerful because Mercury is also there. So for some of you might be like arranging some documents connected to property, uh, to diplomas, the fourth house rules, certificates of any sorts as well, and land, family matters of any sort. There might be renewal um, of the environment at home by some important conversations that happen, and agreeing on new rules in regards with the family, in regards to place of living and home, and or property matters, tenant matters, and such. And Venus, let's see where Venus is. The planet that rules you, it's in your third house. So for a big part of August, the area that feels a bit more lighter is that Cancer area. So maybe a short trip can be good. Short distance trip can feel pleasant, especially after I think Venus enters your third house around the after the 7th, 8th of August. So maybe a short trip around with family as well, because your fourth house of family is activated. Um, Maybe the media. You might find it pleasant to escape in social media and watching. I don't know how watching news is ever pleasant, but you receive some kind of joy from that experience, and maybe some communication with people that you like. Even though, as I said, there might be some clash of opinions with others because of this 9th house, 12th house tension. But you can also hear from like minded people, connect with them. It can be good, for example, for some marketing campaign, business campaign, launching some, when Venus transits the third house, some project, some business project, or enjoying learning some new skill as well. That's another way. That's something you can find pleasurable and you can find joy in, and increasing the communications, definitely the information flow around you. Thank you so much, Taurus, and we'll see you again for the September videos. But in August this tension starts building, so thank you.